Then the light of the being blocked from the building, the horizon coming down. Oh my god, dude, just over my right shoulder from the fresh snow melting, and it's kind of warm out, so the snow is being more engraved damp down, and it's floating on top of the water, which is black in the morning because the lack of light, but just makes for the covering of the inverted cross, a break line for the horizon on the water that is black. Uncanny because it's in the side view of you, so you're barely. I think diffraction is a database, and sublingually is intimate in synchronicity if you don't want to. I'm gonna take you on a journey where we'll look at good mood. I can understand that I'm trying to get into the footsteps with this person. These footsteps of the person, I feel like we're having a good time, and me trying to match them equals that very mood. The other day I was excited to see ducks, and I was saying, wow, they're back from the snowfall. Once the snow is gone, I was happy to greet them, but the medium of that truth was not true. The snow the very next day is back. When I went to greet the ducks, the female duck took off immediately, sensing that something was wrong, that I might have been showing my face too early. That was just as much the case as the phase change of a skip to my loo. I did feel like my steps were out of synchronicity after passing the shadow. In civil disobedience. So, connecting your mood to the material world, and a material world should be made to connect a mood. Not governed by anyone but you. And when the material world says you need flashy clothing and a nice car for a relationship, and when Starbucks has on their cup that first sip feeling, and it really is the first sip feeling when you get a caffeine hitting you in the face, feels really good. But you're buying the material good in order to be a good feeling. It entails a system of governance through the consumerism. So at what change phase would you call adequate? We need better information of the productivity in order to make that assumption. With my shot in the dark, what if it's a 5-star? If you can look up in the sky and find 5 stars and then map out every place where there's 5 stars, you can use that as a power equal to change you. Finding those stars and allocating it is going to have something where it changes you. You can change your cells, the human scale, or the human scale can get giant bugs flying around like in the movie Doom. Well, instead of having bugs flying around in the movie Doom, how about we do a little less risque technique and start finding stars that you can group them with 5 stars and give your review. If it were a bomb, like a gay bomb, go on Wikipedia and look up gay bomb. You'll see what the Pentagon had begun. That is to say, sugar changes your opinion. It is if you have enough of it. Let's take a different example. Instead of cracks, you could use something like salt dries. And it's in little pieces, and the more you can make a piece potent, and it would stick to your shoe. More accurately, if you could make the concentrated salt into a liquid form and inject it into the marsh area on your shoe, it would dry it pretty well. Doubt that anything that is being hidden is actually exposed more if it is the intention of the hiding to be bad. More light is shined on it. Just as like a video is transferred into the internet, it's what the hell is this? So this is what I was trying to refer to earlier, how a cryptography, a sign could be just like all these little diagonals on a little card. It could be equaled out into a bigger sign that was more wordy, orientated for a graphic reasoning. Compiling would turn it into that. So what is exploited is defined by what's designated. I live for freedom, but then I also like to be disciplined in order to learn better. If you can exploit and should not be exploited. This is Zoe Cruz channel. Thanks for watching. Because when you don't have freedom, you don't have taste. And so when I was bashing that there's rust everywhere, this looks kind of cool. Would I prefer it there to not be there? I'd prefer it to be there, but I'd like it to be like a different color because there's just too much rust color. And I feel like this cement is making it look less obvious because it blends with it. But with taste, it comes like with hairstyle. I think my hair looks gross right now because it's all like stiff, and I'm not able to handle it because I would rather not. People might think his hair looks pretty nice. And when you can't have taste, then there's no fun. This was the first snowball that I've thrown. And what should be my target with my offhand missed. That's another thing, like I threw a snowball at the sign, but then if I threw a rock at a sign, it would be destruction of property. So at what length can you judge that it is or isn't a criminal activity? You need to be disciplined, or else they will say every time, you don't know what's good for you. You don't know what's good for everyone. You're not safe. You're dangerous to everyone. So I gotta say how I'm hands-on. Why I'm throwing stuff at signs. I like smacking signs with my hands. I'm hands-on. I learn different from seeing my experiences play off. The government puts up signs. Some of them fall down. I'm trying to learn why. This is a representation how we saw blotches, but now the grouping clusters, and we see a remnants of what was in moments before. Not blood. Could have been a blood clot, but it is not. Would make that much of a bunch. And in a system of engagement, you might think that this is bubbling, but it isn't. And the sticks, these are submerging out from in due process of what the red fabric was before. You guys are pretty tight. The other side's great. I'll go this side. Yeah, did you see in Texas a lady was tackled not wearing a mask? Nah, I didn't see it. Doesn't make the news. Hey, you know what else doesn't make the news? When there's needles on the ground, they'd say don't touch them. That's danger, danger, no needles. Right now we're seeing all these masks are on the ground. That's more dangerous, the deadliest thing, 10 times more than what they were telling us these needles are. You guys should consider starting picking some of these things up. Probably seen 12 in 2 days on the ground once the snow's melting. All the deadliest things since the Black Plague is now within those snow that's melting. Nah, that's your job, bro. Protect whatever you gotta do, but I'm telling you right now, that's more dangerous than what they were telling about those needles. You don't see those. Little do whoever is thinking for you guys know that that's actually, whatever you think it is, danger 10 times more than what that would have been. So in the bottom end isn't taking action, and at the top tier is shouting orders and making a theatric. But at the bottom, when you notify a professional who is structured to keep danger at cause, he was more happy to shut his window and barely had it cracked. You think he's gonna think anything of what I just told him? No.